Okay, let's go back to this problem um, and talk about why this process even works. Okay, we talked about the how. Usually we see four terms instead of three or instead of two. So when you see four terms and you see the degree, or excuse me, the exponents going down by one, and we see a difference here that matches the difference of the exponents here, that's how we know we can at least attempt to factor by grouping. Now let's talk about like why this works. What it comes down to is this idea of distributing. Okay, when we distribute, right? Let's take something simple. Let's just say 3 plus or 3 times x plus 2. Let's look at this. What is distributing, right? Distributing is a way to show multiplication. Okay, so when we have a 3 that's touching the parentheses like this, we take this 3, we multiply it times x, right? That would look like this. And then we multiply the 3 times 2, which would look like this, right? So when you first learned about distributing, my guess is this process was kind of shown to you, and eventually you get to this binomial, right? Now, if you look at what we have here, okay, and specifically, let's take a look at this, all right, our finished product. Now, when if you're given this product, right? Normally, what I would assume, if I said I'd like you to expand this expression, uh, I know it's kind of a taboo word now, but I used to call it foiling, right? You take the first term, you multiply it times here, then you take the outside terms, you do x squared times -6, then you do 2 times x and 2 times -6, right? So that's that basic foiling process. We could, however, we could look at we could look at multiplying these together as distributing. If I took this quantity, okay, and I said, I'm going to distribute this quantity here, and I'm going to distribute this quantity here. So I'd be taking x minus 6 and taking the entire binomial and multiplying it times x squared. That'd be x squared times x minus 6. And then I'd be taking x minus 6 and multiplying it times the positive 2. Okay, so it's not unlike what we did here. We're distributing from the back instead of the front like we did here, but the process is still the same. I'm taking the item or the value that I am distributing, and I'm writing it twice, and I'm showing it being multiplied times each of these two pieces. That's what I did here. I showed the 3 twice being multiplied by each of these two pieces, and I ended up with this. So if you look, this expression is actually right here. So this idea of grouping is a way of doing reverse distribution with two binomials, right? So then if you went through and you kept going here, you get x cubed minus 6x squared plus 2x minus 12, which is what this is, right? So factoring by grouping is a factoring method where we're doing reverse distribution, right, or inverse distribution, if you want to call it that, to end up with these two binomials. So that's why we only write this one time, even though there were two of them, okay, because it was as if I was distributing it into this binomial to begin with, right? So this is not necessarily a description of how to do it, but a description of why this process actually works the way that it does.